Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Key Dynamics Podcast.
Good morning, D. How are you? I'm Kurt, and this is Dangerous One. I love this song. It always gets me in a good mood to start a show. Can I sour the mood real quickly, though, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Good.
Yeah. Let's get some Bloodhound Gang going on. I know. Sophomore humor for everybody just waking up bright and early. Hi. This shit is going to piss in your cornflakes this morning. I tried to say it in way too many words last time, but this sample from Silver Convention's Get Up and Boogie, which is like a disco hit that nobody remembers, this perfectly encapsulates how I feel about disco in general. Kind of queasy, uncomfortable, just fake machismo and confidence. It's just like something about it seems dirty and wrong, and it's like that feeling like there's just cocaine everywhere, and people are like getting sketchy and shit like that.
What is the song called?
Get Up and Boogie by Silver Convention, and it might be actually worth throwing up even just for the 10 or 15 seconds.
Okay.
Because
what were we just listening to right there?
That was Bloodhound Gang's Lift Your Head Up High and Blow Your Brains Out. It was from one fierce beer coaster that was notable for the Firewater Burn. That was like Bloodhound Gang's big hit until the fucking Bad Touch came through and shredded fucking MTV and Much Music for the better part of half a decade. This is it, yeah. I think the song actually, like, the Bloodhound Gang perfectly capture this kind of it's like kind of gross feeling. I get what they were going for, maybe disco luxury, laid back feeling, but it just feels gross. Something about this, it feels sad. Like, I feel sad when I'm listening to it. I'm supposed to want to roller skate.
This is so perfect. You and I sitting here, Key Dynamics. Want to know an interesting dynamic? This song I used to play as a happy song. When I was working at the ski resort, I would actually play this to people and my staff. I'm not kidding at all. And we'd be like, that's right. It was a little ridiculous, actually, but it was fun. Way different vibe than it seems like what you're talking about.
Yeah, how the hell did we not cross paths on this one before then? Holy shit. Because, I show this song to a lot of people. Nobody knows what the fuck, they're listening. Silver Convention, whatever.
Because you haven't even shown this song to me before.
No, yeah, this is
the first time we're listening to this together. All of us.
Yeah. My first time hearing that awesome story, too, yeah. No, it's so strange to me, because this song actually makes me feel kind of sad, and that's what I love about the Bloodhound Gang version. I'm like, oh, it makes me feel almost upset in my stomach. Like, just uncomfortable. I don't know what it is about that. It could be just like the veneer. Like I said, I got a thing with disco. I love some disco, Donna Summer and all that shit, but like a lot of it just feels dirty. Like, it feels like, oof. Like I gotta pick this record up and shake the coke off of it. Listen to it on Spotify. I still feel like grimy.
Hearing the two songs back to back, what about them relates in the griminess? What gives it, what has the same griminess vibe? But before you answer that, hello to our first chatter of the morning, L'Amour.
Good morning.
So what about those two songs? Where did you use grime?
Yes, I feel dirty almost listening to it. It feels like it has the residue of disco club cocaine, like in the shitty fish scale stuff too. Like, it just, I don't know. It sounds like sadness to me. There's something about the Bloodhound Gang version that really picks up the speed and gets it going, even though it's super misanthropic. They actually put an upbeat spin on it. Maybe that's why I have a weird bias for the original now, because I've heard this kind of driving upbeat version. But yeah, the original sounds kind of mopey to me now. It feels kind of like we're boogieing because we have to, or because yeah.
And is it the sound of the music alone, or is it combined with lyrics?
Yeah, it's both. The sound of the music alone. And that's, I think, what made it so perfect and primed for like the sampling here, is because you just didn't have to do anything except speed it up, and then you have an entirely different song in your hands. That's like, I've listened to a couple of your songs recently, and it's crazy. Just dropping the speed, melodies are just, it hits you a different way, even if they're essentially still the same. I cannot hear it, unless it's in this certain kind of tempo now. It's just, it hits you different. It makes you feel a different way. An upbeat song, slowed down, holy shit, man. I can get real downbeat real fast.
Mm-hmm. The space between everything happening gives you time to think. The amount of anticipation almost.
Yep.
It's it's not like a movie. You can't slow a movie down to half, and you can probably see a lot more, but not enjoy it the way you would with a song.
No, not at all. Yeah, and especially with the denser ones too. Like the Bloodhound Gang was fucking insane with sampling. Like for all the garbage sophomoric humor they did put us through and continue to put us through, I think unfortunately one of the things that gets lost is those guys are like legitimate DJs. Like Jimmy may have been a fucking total asshole, but holy shit, man, his sampling game was so strong. That guy made literal chart-topping hits just by slicing and dicing the most obscure parts of songs that you would never think go together. Frankie Goes to Hollywood and fucking Metallica, and then just Falco and Tupac references throughout. Like, what the fuck am I listening to? But he was like not only like, thankfully for him at the time, like so goddamn on the pulse of like teenage and frat rock kind of like mainstream culture, but his sampling game was out of control, absolutely out of control.
I don't know how many people who would be listening to this, or even people I know that are really into music, that would know the Bloodhound Gang. And if they do, it would be this reason.
Well, now, we call this the act of mating, but...
See, yeah, this is an instance where the song is bigger than the band.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Always will be.
Like 203 million plays on Spotify.
Deserve it. The fucking song is awesome. Let's be honest. That shit aged like wine. The one I was surprised didn't hold up that I used to love was their first big single, Fire Water Burn. I find that a little arduous to get through now.
Way different.
The roof.
Yeah, completely different vibe. And then, but something that has quite a few more plays than it on Spotify. Do you know what I'm about to play?
Is it Mope?
No. Mope might have more plays. I'm not looking at their most played. I'm just looking at something that is more played than Fire, Water, Burn.
By Bloodhound Gang. Yeah, no, I can think of like the Bad Touch, the Inevitable Return of the Great White Dope, maybe. That one is a good one.
The answer is Foxtrot Uniform Charlie.
Charlie Kilo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the phonetic alphabet for fuck. Kilo.
Okay. So what's interesting?
Dumbass jock humor.
Okay, so what's interesting to me here is that, the Bloodhound Gang, I know what you mean about the Bad Touch, the song is bigger than the band, but you mentioned them as, you said they're amazing DJs. Nothing I've heard here, I don't think, unless I'm hearing something wrong, would really tell me that at all.
So that's like unfortunately long gone by a wayside, but I remembered Bloodhound Gang in concert probably around the time Hooray for Boobies came out. So I don't even know if the Bad Touch had like literally, it happened fast. That song fucking was enormous overnight, but like the true hooks that it kind of sank into the, not just that culture, like that era there, but like, still to this day. I watched them in concert, and it's just I never liked mashup. I really wasn't a mashup guy. Girl talk gets me going, but that's because that's a different level. And that's kind of like the only thing that's reminded me of those early Bloodhound Gang shows. before fucking Jimmy was just doing stupid shit on stage just to shock people and rapping. These guys could fucking like they could spin records back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's like a lot of the pre-show. It was just them just DJing the music they liked and shit like that.
Is there a song on Spotify I could play that would, they represent that pretty quickly? And I saw in chat there, Lamar said that they've never really listened to Bloodhound Gang. And when you say never really, do you mean you haven't, or was there a time that you would put them on? I don't even think I ever liked the Bad Touch. It was just like, it was almost like it was my Gangnam Style almost when I was younger.
Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely a period of time where I did not like the song. And there was no, there's no two ways about it. The song had annoyed me, and it had reached what I thought was, its conclusion for the better. But no, after not hearing it for a long time and coming back to it, there's a reason why it was so big. It's like undeniably catchy, and the beat is just fun, and I don't know. The humor is it's pretty good if you kind of forget the punchlines, after like 10, 15 years. Maybe that's what that's what I'm going on here. I'm going on nostalgia fumes and forgetting the punchline. But for some reason, I find it strangely endearing now. Also, like the knowledge that this guy was like writing and singing the shit at our age now, back then.
Where are they from?
Maybe it fills me with some sort of
Where are they from?
Oh, Jesus Christ, New Jersey, I think. Yeah, there could never be a band this gross and self-loathing from anywhere but New Jersey. So, yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Hello, good morning, everyone in New Jersey.
New Jersey would love that unironically. That's fucking Jersey. Really? Yeah, fuck you. Take it. Yeah. Okay, so. Ooh, close enough to Jersey, Pennsylvania. So they were literally across the street.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget that New Jersey is like literally cuts right through the middle of Philadelphia. But yeah, we'll keep our urban politics for another show.
So here's another song here that reminds me of the Bloodhound Gang, but not because of the way they sound, because of the era almost, and not even era of the song, because the songs don't even seem to sound like an era. It's just an era that I heard this and the Bloodhound Gang that was just like, actually the Bloodhound Gang was first. Was this a Jackass thing? Was this in a Jackass movie or something? How did this get popular?
It was definitely in a Jackass movie, but to be honest, I believe like the first huge mainstream exposure came from Lost in Translation. That's sick, incredible, beautiful 2003 movie. That was Sofia Coppola's second directorial effort, and Bill Murray, the aging actor, that's right, who was out in fucking Tokyo doing Suntory whiskey commercials, and then he hooks up by happenstance just for like a night out with Scarlett Johansson, who's kind of like feeling left alone by her husband, who's a photographer, and he's got some big press and media junkets to do. So they go out partying one night, and the soundtrack's just fucking amazing. It's incredible. It features some of Kevin Shields' first original work, in addition to like the better My Bloody Valentine, which, there was so limited amounts of recordings from them at that time. We didn't know at that point that they'd reunite eventually, but yeah. And then of all the strange little gems in that picture, there was one scene where they were in a strip club and this song was pumping. And yeah, I think this became the unironic new like Nine Inch Nails Closer, like the stripper song from hell. It just had to be like the lo-fi fucking quality, the unashamed lyrics.
Yeah, I don't know where. There's somewhere that song it just shot at me. all of a sudden. Like one year, all of a
Yeah.
sudden it was everywhere, but it was because of something. And I don't know why I don't remember what that one something was. I do
It
not
might be worth
remember.
looking up. Yeah. I think that, like I said, the earliest iteration for me was that movie, because I remember it was jarring. Like it was totally off with the rest of the movie, but that made sense because like they were in some sleazy ass strip club. But yeah, after being kind of like almost lulled to sleep by that soundtrack a few times, hearing that just pop out, I was like, oh fuck.
So this is another song by Peaches. This is called Boys Wanna Be Her.
This is like, I think this definitely had some mainstream commercials. I'm sure I heard this in like, a Chevy Tahoe commercial or something like that. This song actually, this got radio playing, understandably so. It's sketchy as hell.
The topic of this podcast might almost turn into rock punk bands that also do funky electronic, almost rap, just like good morning everybody, let's go kind of thing,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. It's like a purely attitude thing, which is totally punk rock, really, when you think about it. And a lot of what people think is punk rock is not punk rock anymore. That's pretty punk. Just doing that in itself.
Yeah,
And
true
fuck
enough.
your style.
The one I can think of, I can think of three now. Just Peaches, because what we just heard, that electronic thing, and then what we just heard there with the rock thing, and then the Bloodhound Gang, and then the Beastie Boys.
Oh, yes. The Beastie Boys. Yeah. My fucking chagrin got into them way too late because I think I like so many other people, unfortunately, bought some of their compilations with no context whatsoever to their sense of humor. So like incredibly frustrating and difficult to quantify the fact that you just spent like $20 or $30 on a CD and you're listening to fucking Country Mike. Oh, Country Mike. And then, yeah, like I think I told you, my one of the worst feelings ever was like, oh my God, like this is what people are so crazy about. Like people like call the Beastie Boys like one of the greatest to ever do it, period. Rap, rock, no matter what. And my first experience was like kind of out of context. Sounds of Science, anthology, Country Mike. And I thought, my taste in music is shit, and it always will be because I don't get it.
Are there people out there that are like big Country Mike fans? Like, do people like that, or is it just something they did kind of like? For example, like Spinal Meningitis, what I'm going to put on right now by a band called Ween. I do wonder, do they put this out because they think people are going to really, really like it? Or is it just like, here's this piece of art type thing? Like, I don't know.
It's got to be a little bit of both. At least, yeah. I mean, again, you'd probably need some context for the artists themselves. But I think for sure, man, like with Ween, like they have to enjoy that little bit of commercial success that they have, because like, how could you not be proud of writing this lunatic shit and having it be as popular as it is? Like, fuck getting on the Billboard. The fact that thousands of people could show up to your concert and sing this shit is fucked.
But the thing
What
is,
amazing.
but it's already on a huge label. It's a huge release. When did Country Mike come out? That wasn't like their first. You wouldn't think that's like their first.
No. Yeah.
When I
No. It came out late career at the time. It was like the mid '90s. So
It's
yeah, no,
okay.
it was fully a joke,
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought when I
which
got
I didn't
it.
know.
What year did that come out? Do you know the Beastie Boys anthology?
I believe it was 1998. I could be wrong though. It could be 99.
Really?
Sounds of Science. Oh, maybe you
I was
think
going to
it's
say early
2005?
2000s. Sounds of Science. Is that what it was called? That sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
holy.
Yeah, it was Sounds of Science, and it had that the black and white slip cover and the cool digipack. Motherfucking 1999. God damn. Okay, we're old.
It was
Cool.
99?
Anyways, moving on. Yeah, it is indeed 99. That's way back there.
The reason
Yeah.
I was going to say 2000, but I guess, years back then just seemed
Yeah.
like forever anyway.
Honestly,
because I remember buying that CD after I had bought Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP, Or was it no Slim
Yeah.
Shady LP? Slim Shady LP. What I don't remember anymore. I honestly I don't
Slim
even.
Shady was the first one. Marshall Mathers was the big one. That's when shit changed. I mean, Slim Shady was already game changing, but yeah.
So my name is
Stan, The Way I Am.
Yeah. So I was.
My name was Slim Shady. Yeah. The earlier one.
So I bought that and expected it to be kind of more fun, like, you know, and like, hi, my name is, and then I heard it and it was just like some of the darkest stuff I'd ever heard in my life. Oh, I think it was probably the darkest stuff I ever heard in my life. But the thing was, it didn't affect me in any way because it was so dark and so deep that I just didn't get it. I just thought it was like a horror movie. I don't know. I just let it fly over me. I don't know how to think about how I look at it, actually.
That's probably the healthiest way to listen to that music, because I think that's the only way he got away with saying as much shit as he did, was that he never took his foot off the gas pedal when it came to like playing that horror movie aesthetic. Like Slim Shady was the character. Marshall Mathers was that was treading dangerous water. And I know he knew exactly what he was doing. If you've ever listened back to like half of the Slim Shady LP, I'll Stand By as one of the greatest rap records of all time, but holy fuck, man, it's hard to listen to. From the homophobia to the misogyny is real bad. To a couple other things, like just the blatant recitals of what were very clearly actual crimes committed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if he didn't have this incredibly believable, engaging, but so outlandish, cartoonish evil Slim Shady character, I don't know if it works or not. Yeah, it's Marshall Mathers was already like I said, treading dangerously into like, okay, scary territory. Like this is still a character, but yeah, when you're listening to like The Way I Am and shit like that, you're like, oh, okay, the shit he's singing about like Kim it's not for effect anymore. Like this dude may actually believe this fucked up stuff.
What I love about how similar we are in music taste and how much we listen to music and use music is how differently we do listen to music. For example, I never listen to lyrics, and it's not because I don't care. It's because I'm so involved in just what's happening sonically, just with all the different, I'm listening to everything. I'm hearing the voices and the melodies, and I'm not just ignoring it, obviously, but I hear it in such a different way. I don't really connect. I cannot think of a single song really I've ever connected, a certain message in a song. What actually happened to my uncle, and it's like a perfect example of how I listen to music. He had some Steely Dan song or something that he thought had this one beautiful part in it. So in his art class, he wrote out this big, they wrote the lyrics on this big poster basically. And one of the lyrics that he thought was there, he found out years later, it was actually wrong. It was like he wrote it. It was the main lyric of why he wrote it. He had misheard the entire time, but it meant something to him.
That's
the way he interpreted it meant something to him.
Yep.
You know how people say people can interpret things differently. He literally heard the wrong words.
It's, man, I've done that a couple times with songs, and yeah, I don't know if there's one off the top of my head, but I usually don't change the lyrics at this point. I'll just sing the wrong lyrics because that's what it means to me. Like that's that song to me now. And usually it's not a big deal, but holy fuck. Eminem is one of the ones where you really do have to pay attention to the lyrics. And it's not just because like he was really ahead of his time as far as like the wordplay was going. Holy shit, man. He could rap circles just about over anyone, absolutely anyone in the era, period. The fact that like he's devolved into kind of like an uninteresting, but like so technically proficient rapper just kind of shows you like where his mindset is now too. It's like, that's the hard part to quantify. Is like, okay, this guy, he went hard in on this character because he knew that's what he had to do. That he had to build this character, and that's how he could get away with saying some of this shit. Blah 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 blah. That's his popularity right there. But like now to watch him like as a refined artist and stuff, to watch him like hone his skills to the point where it's almost kind of boring to listen to him rap on some songs just because he's going for like, he's going for speed, dexterity, agility and shit like that, and it kind of leaves like the lyrics in a lackluster position. But it's some of that early stuff still it's kind of horrible, shocking shit, and it still feels like he meant every word of it. I think the lyrics for Eminem aren't even about the wordplay. It's about like how you're able to listen back to it now, and like just the sheer sincerity in some of the awful things he says. Mm-hmm. Always found that fascinating.
And for Eminem, it just takes so much different talent to write what you're doing, to fit it into a melody, to fit in the words into a rhythm. And that's most of the rap I've listened to has just been because of the rhythm, the way it fits in melody. The actual words they're saying didn't really matter. Something like the Eminem stuff, like you're talking about, that is music that I would sit down, or now I would have to sit down and listen to. It's not something I put in the background of anything. It's not something, I was going to say not something I listen to when I'm driving, but driving is kind of perfect. To zone out, you're driving, you're listening to all the words, and you're not just appreciating, you are fully appreciating the talent, not just of what he's saying, but how he's saying it and the music type thing. And it takes something really, it's funny because I'm not huge into rap music at all, but I can listen to a very talented rapper over an okay beat, if they're talented enough to like catch my interest.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think I stray, at least recently, more to the other end. I'm okay putting up with like a mediocre rapper, as long as it's limited vocals, done tastefully maybe, but the beat is like crazy ill. Like DJ Muggs has been putting out a series of albums, just all collaborative albums. The last 2 or 3 years he's been going at it pretty hard, and they're not all winners, and there's a lot of no-name rappers and shit like that you kind of want to skip through some bars, but you just can't, because the beat is so fucking good that you just put up with this garbage that they're saying. I never had to feel that way with Eminem. That was one of the nice things, even though as shocking and crass and outwardly like offensive it was meant to be, like it was pointed, and it was pointed like a gun, and he knew exactly what he was doing. There's also very few, if any at all, instances where I've listened to an Eminem song and thought, these are throwaway lyrics.
Oh, sorry, I just got confused. NFS music is very interesting. What does that stand for again?
That's it for work?
No, NFS music is very interesting.
NFS. I'm not sure.
Me neither. What we're listening to in the background here is something Kurt showed me within the last week or so. This is 80 Bars by Redman. This is kind of like what I think. This beat is good. I really like it. Like, it has a great vibe, but this is very minimal. And I can listen to the whole thing just because Redman has such a flow. I feel weird saying flow.
Yeah, I think
I'm so opposite of flow.
Oh, that's perfect. No, that's the perfect word to describe it, because that's what he's flexing, man. He's flexing like his flow muscles. Like he's kind of taking off his old man shirt, showing his old man abs, and flexing his old man biceps, saying, "Yeah, I can still rap." I've actually enjoyed probably like the last half a year of random collaborations and single drops. Him and Method just seem like they've been selling guest verses like maybe out of the back of their car or some shit like that. They're on a fucking new track every week, but it's crazy to me. I fully go into each of these songs expecting finally to hear like Method Man outdone, but no, it's continually shitty new rappers, and then Meth dropping some like wild, way too good for the song verse. Too much good wordplay. The rhymes are too perfect. His his fucking delivery is still, it's peak Method Man. It's just so inimitable, man. Yeah, you can kind of fucking voice, but you can't really quite get that cadence,
Mm-hmm. A lot of what you're saying, I'm glad a lot of what you're saying.
His voice is an instrument.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad a lot of what you're saying has nothing to do with the subject matter of the words. I love that it's just like, the instrument, the way it fits in, the way it's just like there. Yeah, as I said, I'm so the opposite of Flo, and I so wish that I could just use my voice like that over music to just, I don't know. It's just so different. It's a completely, I don't know. I'm so out. The more I think about it, the more I appreciate it, but the more I'm just like, I don't want to dip my toe into it in a way. If you know?
Yeah. I think one of the best approaches I've heard to songwriting was, I know it's been done to death, but I think it was Sia or Lady Gaga who just kind of did it one day on air, and I got to kind of see the process. You hear singers talk about it all the time, but you don't actually watch them so much like hum out nonsense tunes while they're writing music, and that's kind of where Method Man falls. Like his fucking content was hilarious. Like the first album is really, really good, but you can kind of see where maybe his writing falls off. That's where his voice picks up all the slack, like all of it. Moving on your left, South Palm is a meth. Like it's just that right away who you're listening to, and it's just good, like flat across the board. You can expect quality, and that's what comes with that sound too. But yeah, even if you don't know the words, you're still humming like almost his lines. You're humming the cadence. You have the hook in the brain of an actual lyrics melody and not so much the beat anymore. Which that's crazy.
Can you think of something right now, like instead of me searching for a hook that just kind of, as soon as the song starts, it doesn't matter who it's by, just a voice and rap that just stands out. That's like, okay, this sounds good. Almost like, sometimes when you hear a certain guitar tone, you're like, okay, it's just one chord, just sort of song. Yep. What voice is that?
Yep. It's Give Me the Loot. B.I.G. The moment you hear Biggie start to rap, it like the first time hearing him, man, I wish that's one of those fucking things I really wish I could go back and experience for the first time. I know a lot of people say, like the getting to see The Matrix in theaters or some shit like that. I want to hear for the first time ever Biggie's Ready to Die. I remember sitting there and just floored, intimidated. It's no secret at all where Eminem gets his style and flow from. I could probably tell you it's like literally 50% Biggie, 50% Redman. If you made an unholy alliance and it had a white child between Biggie and Redman, it would be Eminem. Yep. The voice, unmistakable. Samples his own voice to fucking use on tracks. That's fucking baller.
Yeah. So this is the 2005 remaster of Gimme the Loot by the Notorious B.I.G. When is this? What year did this originally come out?
1995. But yeah, it's damn near impossible to find any original copies. So the 2005 remasters basically what people are relegated to listening to these days. Bad Boy Records, Diddy. One interesting fact about this album: Notorious B.I.G.'s debut album, despite being produced by Sean Combs, Puff Daddy at the time, features only just one guest rap verse from anyone on any of the tracks. Just one single guest solo. Method Man.
Huh.
Fuck yeah. So yeah, no, 1995, Puff Daddy did not do any of his due diligence whatsoever. So if you want the original like beats and shit like that, you got to go digging past YouTube onto Discogs for like $100 copy of some beat ass old CD. I've listened to them like once or twice, and it's kind of true that the samples, if they'd cleared, they would have just made better songs. Like they definitely had a different idea going for them. That being said, I'm so used to like the remasters now that it doesn't matter. It's Biggie's voice and flow. They usually put that up front anyways, and that's exactly what I think of when I think of his rap music.
Mm-hmm.
He had some of the best fucking beats. He had some of the greatest working under him, Primo and shit like that, but like whatever. Sometimes it was just literally like a boom bap, like a skeleton snare and bass, because that's all you needed when he fucking started to rap, it was like someone pushing in the room. You're sitting alone in your fucking bedroom, headphones or shitty speakers. Somebody came into that fucking room with you.
Little snippet of Juicy real quick. All right.
If you want a solid deep cut from that album, Friend of Mine.
I'm just curious. These are the most popular on Spotify. I'm just trying to get a vibe for what what's up with the people. Of course, Big Papa, and then the big one. And this one,
if we're gonna risk 30 seconds though, you got to do it on Friend of Mine. It'll be much more worth your time.
Okay.
Because that is like, that's the party rock. That's the shit where, okay, yeah, Biggie had these huge singles. Everybody knows them. You know, he was like fucking heavy D for the gangsters there for a while. But this. Another song that's a little offensive. Misogyny. Doesn't age well.
Friend of Mine. Another 2005 remaster. I wonder
Very little was changed about this one though.
I wonder if they'll be remastered again.
Yeah, we're coming up on an anniversary, right? That'll be just another 3 years. Yep. And they'll be able to milk it for 30, like they're doing with so much other stuff.
It would be interesting.
30th year.
It would be interesting if an artist, instead of doing remastered, knew what was wrong, know how technology has changed, and could say, like, finished. But there's a comment even Deadmau5 made, like, not how any piece of art never really feels finished. There's always something you can change. There's always something about it that somebody else will like better. Like, you give two people the same stereo with the same song, and controls of the bass and treble, they're not going to put the same settings on.
No, that's a good point. I think that's what draws a lot of people's ire these days too, especially with Kanye West, is the fact that he insists on re-releasing the same album over and over and over again, just with minor tweaks. It was funny when you're like, which edition of The Life of Pablo do you have? Did you get the one from the first 4 weeks it was uploaded, or were you in that special 10-day window between phases 1 and 3 where he just went a little off the rails? And then you realize that he's actually re-uploaded the same album but with minor tweaks, close to 400 fucking times. You're like, what the fuck? Now it's an evergreen document, but for music, your song, which is kind of neat. But at some point or another, it really doesn't represent the song I fell in love with anymore, because he's probably fallen out of love with it if he's doing that much tweaking to it. Yeah, it's a tough one to think about.
Sorry, I was just grabbing this.
Yeah.
This is something that Kurt and I put together. All I did was write the music and send it to Kurt, and Kurt took it and made a cassette. I'm not proud of the logo, but it was just something that we were using at the time, just something that could go on there. Not even proud of the music on it. It's interesting, but it's just something to have. And what Kurt was just saying about releases coming out, maybe something being remastered, is that this nobody can ever take from me. If you have a tape or I don't know, a certain
100%.
that thing. That's why I think that something like Record Store Day, that's something that's really cool. But that should be something that just happens anyway. I love that shit.
It should be. There's a couple actually really good initiatives I'm all for. It's kind of a good and a bad scenario, I guess. The fact that we have to do this to promote it sucks, but everything we get out of it is kind of joyful and awesome. Bandcamp Fridays, if anybody is tuning in and listening, don't forget the first Friday of every month is Bandcamp Friday. If you're going to go out and buy shit, buy directly from the artists, stream directly from the artists, and if you do it on that day, they get 100% of their own fucking fees. Royalties to Bandcamp are out the window. So that's a great day to go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, things like Biggie is man, like I said, those tapes and those CDs go for hundreds of fucking dollars because Puffy was never able to clear those samples. It just wasn't happening. It never did. So those things are like truly artifacts lost in time, and that's not like the Kanye revisionism where you can expect a different upload, you know, every 12 hours or so. That was what they came to cut, and what we have now is the best they could do with what was left over, which is still crazy good. But yeah, if you didn't have that physical tape, like it would be lost forever. Thankfully, some people are still circulating those shitty old tapes. So yeah, that tangible thing, more than symbolic. Sometimes it literally is like the last living representation of whatever that art was supposed to be. Pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, I wonder what is coming out now. What music is coming out right now that there's been a certain copy of? Like, I don't even know what's being released and where to find it. And every time it is, it always seems too hokey.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're into. I find electronic is kind of tough. That's a harder one to get into because you really need to know almost with specificity what you want to listen to. It's so fucking broad and dense. Like if I wanted to give like the pop equivalency of electronic music that I don't think anybody should be missing, Rufus Du Sol. I think that's the easy answer. For me personally, yeah, you go down to like Metalheads and Tricky and Technical Glitch and stuff like that. With metal, I think it's a little easier. It's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. Metal tends to buck and thrive on trends, even short-lived ones. So there was a wicked old school death metal thing going on there for a couple of years, which is still riding high. But yeah, no, I think we're giving way to more of a like a traditional old school new wave of British heavy metal kind of metal coming back again, which is cool too because that's fun.
I don't care what it is, but I want something to take over. I need, you know, I want something like even.
I think there is something to take over, and we're on the outside of that bubble. I think trap has been that way for a long time. Trap music has definitely been like, that's like, I think the big pop culture thing as far as music's concerned. Yeah. Even the boy bands, like, you know, Brockhampton is like, you know, the best American export on that side, but even BTS, sure, they got the crazy fandoms and, you know, like the numbers and the promotions and all that shit, the campaigns, but still, man.
No, not like BTS.
Something to be said for.
I was going to bring up BTS, but I'm not talking about something that gets, you know, a little special meal at McDonald's. Like that's pretty huge. You don't see that with anything except for the NHL hockey. But afterwards, nobody cares. Nobody talks about it, you know?
No.
Even, you know, but that's what you need. Something truly that's going to take over that will always be like, you know, that person. Is with the Adele? Is that what we're dealing with?
Yeah, I'd say Adele is probably a contender. Man, if Kendrick Lamar was more active, there would be no doubt in my mind that he is just the best rapper out there. It definitely is the best rapper out there right now, by all metrics. Songwriting, lyrical ability, just the pleasantness of flow is you know, his ambiguity and lyrical dexterity. Kendrick Lamar is by far what we should be actually holding ourselves up to by musical standards right now. Adele, sure, yeah, I find her music to be very pleasing, but also a little bit, honestly, a little bland.
Oh, I didn't think you were going to say pleasing. I thought you were going to say I find her music very popular.
No, it's that, like, that's what you were talking about earlier. Like if you wanted something to throw on in the background mindlessly, for me that would be Adele. I know a lot of people feel differently, but rumor has it was the only song I can remember singing to her. It's like, okay, now this is cool, this is catchy, this has got something. The rest of it kind of sounds like just typical crooning. Kendrick Lamar should be the gold standard right now. Kanye West needs to step the fuck aside. People need to go back and listen to those first 3 Kendrick albums.
I think Adele's one of the perfect examples for me of something that I know is good, like better than good, but I don't like it, which is kind of unfortunate. Because I only unfortunate because I want to enjoy everything. But I guess I need contrast. If I enjoyed that, then I probably wouldn't enjoy some of the other stuff I enjoy. I don't know. Stupid comment.
Yeah. No. I think it's a good comment. And it actually made me think of something unfortunate. Is actually the right answer to our question right now is, or probably was, unfortunately, Travis Scott before all this shit happened. It was like the biggest thing in fucking pop and rap. The guy had Air Jordan deals. He had McDonald's fucking deals. Oh my God.
I don't, but that's okay. I think that's
you don't mean like cultural icon?
Yes, but actually good at what they do. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's debatable. I'd say honestly, yeah, Kendrick Lamar, because he could give a master class in rap for sure right now, and it would be legit. Like, yeah, I'd say anything off Good Kid, Mad City. Holy shit, it still stands up, and a lot of that shit was not just topical, but like very life experience specific. You can hear it come out in the lyrics. Jesus, swimming pools. Oh, this is a good one too.
Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances, Vanessa nigga.
So I gotta think about.
I remember the music video for I. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. Kendrick Lamar's I. Holy shit, game-changing music video. What were you saying, brother?
I was saying Humble by Kendrick Lamar was the last song. I'm just making sure we give credit to every song that comes on. And also in case people like him and want to listen to him. But that was Humble. And I put that one on because I remember just what I remember now. Even with my headphones, I feel like I don't hear it. I feel like I know there's sub there and I know it's probably loud. Like if I put my subwoofer on or something. But I don't know how I'm supposed to listen to it. Do they want me to crank my bass? Like, how sometimes it's like you want the most natural sound. It's a mixed in the studio. So when you take it home, this is just play it. You don't need to go up to your subwoofer every time you listen to another song. And okay, listen to rock. I guess sometimes you do. And that's why people on their audio systems have like their jazz and their country setting. I've never been that guy though. I've never been that guy. So
you've taught me better too.
I was gonna say for one to use preset.
You've definitely taught me.
Sorry, everyone. This is lag. This is because we're across the country from each other.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what I was saying. But it happens all the time.
Yeah, the presets, the rock and roll and the country and the jazz and how you're supposed to listen to it. Yeah, no, you've taught me. If anything, just listen to it flat a couple times, because that's probably how they mixed it in the studio. They just mixed it right there. But all levels kind of aside. How they thought they could best represent the music without having to actually do anything.
Yeah. It's almost like, because part of that is you want to hear parts of the song you wouldn't. If you crank the bass, it's going to draw on other things. So give everything a chance and kind of see where you're going, where the song's going. But what I'm saying with the Kendrick Lamar thing is, how are people listening to this? Like, it must be the lyric content for some people or most people.
The lyrical content is huge. And I think that's where like someone like me can easily bridge shit. Like Kendrick raps about the most legit real life struggles growing up in Compton streets. But some of his biggest songs are just they totally disregard the fact that, this is like part of his character, this tough, like, kind of no bullshit, had to fucking fight for survival, literally like from day one on the streets. Man, a lot of it's about like the internal demons and struggles. And I think that's what separates him vastly far out from his contemporaries, is just like the vulnerability and the introspection and just to kind of like deliver this message no matter what the means. Because sometimes he's gangster and ghetto as fuck, man, but other times it's kind of like weird poppy, kind of almost breathtaking. Like I think it's the Isley Brothers he samples for that single I. Oof, like that when that song came out, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is the most perfect bridging of like genuine street cred, and I don't know, very pop but still edgy, respectable kind of, adult man pop music.
What I want to talk more about, I don't want to talk about it now, But yeah, it's simply how when two people have heard two completely different things, or they're both blown away by Jimi Hendrix or something, and they talk for hours, and it's like all these people think they're into something, and they're all on completely different pages. You know?
Yeah.
I was ready to explain that so well. I had it all wrapped up in a nice little package, and then the audio. I don't know when the audio went out, and that's another thing. I wasn't paying enough attention. Kind of annoys me.
Man, we're supposed to be getting into it, right? Like that's the whole point, is that we shouldn't have to think about that. Shouldn't have to pay attention to those little things. So we will keep an eye on that, though. But no, I think you're wrapping it up very nicely. Yeah. No, this is the best argument for like people literally have their own realities, and you don't have to respect those realities, but you got to respect the fact that they're there. Not even respecting that they should have them, just respect for yourself that those other realities exist, because yeah, we can be listening to the same piece of music and getting it totally different ways. I'm sure a lot of people felt that way about some parody and joke songs. Unfortunately, maybe they were not educated enough to notice the difference between mockery and actual maleficent behavior. But I'd imagine like that's probably you and I hate to toot my own horn, but like on a higher level, higher concept, is we could probably both high concept listen to a Kendrick Lamar song like Swimming Pools, which we should share so much common energy over, and that one I could imagine being vastly different for both of us, even though we know him, we know the music well enough, and we know the concept very well. But yeah, I think I bet you we have very different feelings on what that song actually means.
See,
some people say cautionary tale, other ones say like, the fuck are we doing here anyways type thing,
Okay, you know what? Let's wrap this up properly. I'm going to write some things down because it just crossed my mind that I don't think that any song means anything to me.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Interesting thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's kind of a scary thought to have. Jeez. If no song meant anything to me at all, oof. Like, I don't even think I could put myself in that headspace. That's one of those things where you try to picture the universe without you. I couldn't go back to a time before at least something meant something to me. There's always going to be a song that means something to me. I just can't imagine music without one or two tracks even.
I should totally clarify lyrically.
Okay, yeah. Specifically,
that's huge.
Lyrically.
I really I think I was realizing. Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, because of course music means something to me, but I don't think like lyrically. I don't think that I put on any.
That should have been implied. Yeah.
I don't think. I don't think I put on any song or think about any song where I love the just listen to the words. Just listen to the words, or never. Even when people tell me to listen to the words and I try, all of a sudden I'm like grooving along to like some sweet little bass line that was in the background.
I'd actually still stand by my original argument. Lyrics are a huge thing for me. That's probably what drew me into most of the music. It was like the aesthetics and the actual sound of the music probably that fell more in line with that. I hate to admit it, but like some of Brent Reznor's angsty kind of more cringy kind of high school, early college, that 90s grunge effect, but like with that metal attitude, it does it for me. It lyrically it still does it for me. That was one of the songs I wanted to queue up later for today for like our hype music segment. What's the best music to 100% guaranteed get you rocking and in the zone? Unfortunately, like it's some bad energy vibes, like Somewhat Damaged by Nine Inch Nails. If you read that shit on paper, you'd be like, oof, okay, get this 13-year-old out of here and get him some fucking Xanax or Zoloft or some shit like that while you're at it. But man, that manic, frenetic, deep down inside feeling, like when he speaks, the words matter to me. I know that, like that mania intimately. That's depression and anxiety manifesting in the worst way, and it happens often. And there's something about the lyrics that are just like, okay, this is the pressure valve I need. This right here, don't care how cringy it is, I am unashamedly screaming those words because those words are like representative to me of something much, much greater than the song. It's some sort of release, but the words do matter to me.
Okay.
And they can never not matter.
We can't get into this now, but for next time, on the Key Dynamics podcast here, I want to talk to Kurt about when he's in that mood and he's listening to the music, say, and then all of a sudden somebody comes like, "Oh, what do you listen to? This is great," and they're happy, but you're like, "Whoa, no, that's not. This isn't what the song's about." But they appreciate a different way. Because I've been in a situation before where somebody's really liked everything about a band and I've only liked them and I liked them a lot, but just because they were cool. And they were like, "What? You just like them because you think they're cool?
Yeah.
You don't know who their second base." But there's stuff like that. It's always, and then people within that little thing fighting. So why should you like music? I think that I want to elaborate on this, but it's the way it makes me feel. Never to look cool. I don't think. That's why I want to talk.
A lot of time it is, unfortunately, that's a great topic. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the time for a lot of people, it is to look cool.
Yeah. So think about that. Why I like music, why you like music, and we might like the same thing. Think about those dynamics. Think about those key dynamics. And we'll talk about them next time on Key Dynamics. Thanks, everyone.